Oh, it's time for a little Tuesday afternoon draft here on Drafters. We kicked off Memorial Day cobwebs. Let's hop into the world of the site with total points format, no playoff pods, and 500K to first place. We're also catching up with some football news, and unfortunately, there's 11 spots to fill in this draft room. So I am going to desperately need you guys to come in here, join me in this Drafters draft. Of course, play on Drafters, promo code SPLASH, $100 deposit match. But please, for the love of God, get in here, and I'll wait for it to fill. But I do want to show you guys a couple things. Do want to catch up as well. Heard the on and off the clock with our pal Pete Overzet and Nez and John Warner over there talking about the Gilbert Arenas stuff over the weekend. If you guys missed it, Gilbert Arenas, underdog influencer, was drafting a lot of teams, seemingly auto-drafting them off of, I don't know, some kind of ranks. I did happen to get in one of them, so hey, let's show you guys the draft here while we wait for this draft to fill, and I will keep an eye on it. 11 spots, so really all you fuckers, please go draft on Drafters right now. Again, I have to pick up my kid from daycare, but this is really getting to be an awful situation on Drafters. 10 spots. Shout out to the first person in there. It's probably I am the KY or Chunk. Get in there now. But here's my team, this Gilbert Arenas draft. And I guess, well, first, let's show you what Gilbert Arenas did. So this is a lot of screenshots going around on Twitter. As you guys might have gathered from what I've talked about, with Twitter lately. And Pete's been talking about it too a good amount. The Twitter, quote unquote, best ball community just gets worked up and angry now every week. Before it was the real-time assistance, stuff like the solvers tool, the best ball overlay tool, the sidekick. They had their rallying cry against that, demanded a statement from Underdog about it. They got that. They kind of moved on, I guess, while still yelling about it sometimes. This weekend, though, the whole thing was about drafting with Gilbert Arenas and how the fact that basically Gilbert Arenas at this point, he's a player in best ball where he's not very good at it. So here's what he drafted in this room. Started Josh Allen at pick 9, Lamar pick 16, Jane Daniels pick 33, Jalen Hurts pick 40. Then he hit the elite tight ends in this room I was in. TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta, Johnny Smith. And for the record, for all the people on Twitter who get worked up about this, I specifically joined the room because I heard Gilbert Arenas is creating soft rooms out there, and I wanted to see if I could get something nice. And I think I did, but we'll see my team in a minute. He goes 5 tight ends in a row here. So he hits 4 QBs, which I believe is your max on Underdog. 5 tight ends, which might also be the max on there. Hits a couple of RBs, Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams. Sure, loves the Cowboys, loves the NFC East RB situation. Christian Kirk, after that, Guerendo then grabs his final 2 receivers. So he can now start the required amount of receivers. He only has 3, Christian Kirk, Xavier Leggett, Michael Wilson. More RBs, Shipley, Sampson, Devin Neal. The final team for Gilbert Arenas here, we'll give it a read because, we got time here. Again, still 8 spots left on Drafters, so you want to get in on there. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jane Daniels, Jalen Hurts. So strong room up top here. At RB, you've got Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams, Guerendo, Shipley, Dylan Sampson, Devin Neal. I just said this on the DraftKings stream I did on Stochastic, but that looks like the kind of RB room I would have built a couple years ago. So maybe that's still passable. At receiver, though, Christian Kirk, Xavier Leggett, Michael Wilson. I don't think that's going to make it. I think even the biggest RB slappies out there probably go that team is not going to get all the way there. Tight end, Hawkinson, Laporta, Jonnu Smith, Kelsey Ingram. Look, you're going to get a lot of usable weeks at tight end. That was his team. So what did I get out of it would be the big question. I did get some noteworthy ADP values. So, that said, not any bigger than I've been getting in the Schnauzer slow drafts I've been doing to try to get on all my entries in that tournament. We got Jared Goff and Justin Fields at QB for me. A little bit of an ADP discount on Fields, even though obviously QB got bled out by Gilbert Arenas. So the QB impact was maybe not as big as it would seem from somebody taking 4 elite QBs. RB got Kyron Williams, a little bit of a value. DeAndre Swift, little value. Aaron Jones, little value. Tyjae Spears, no value. Marshawn Lloyd, got him, had to grab him. So that's 5 RBs. Didn't really change the room that much. Neighbors, a little bit of an ADP value. Amon-Ra, a little bit ADP value. You probably don't get these guys at the 1-2 turn super often. So that's maybe one way it helped me out a little bit because I did directly benefit from Josh Allen going 20 spots early, 30 spots early. Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, a little bit of value on Evans, nothing really there. Godwin got him with Evans, had to reach to get that. Jalen McMillan got him late. Tesla got him late. Josh Reynolds got him late. My tight end room, Pitts, likely Otten. I have to say, I functionally got nothing out of the draft besides just like seeing, like, it felt unique for sure, but really not a lot of ADP value. Maybe the uniqueness early on helped a little bit. I would say the first 4 rounds, probably a few more unique combos go up, but not any more unique than you'd normally get. So from my personal anecdotal experience, it's only one draft. Maybe if I had done, 100 of the drafts with them and just given away all my BBM lineups, maybe it would have been different. But I do think overall that wasn't a lot of value being added for the Gilbert Arenas free money being put into the pool. It doesn't matter as much people are going to make it out to look like on Twitter. And that's really the biggest thing now is like, unfortunately, these things, much like everything on Twitter, it just becomes chickens running around with their heads cut off. Like everything has to be panicked. Everything is also them not really knowing enough information and hopping in, wading in with no real understanding of what's going on. I would say that no, you look at the board yourself. It was just on the screen. There aren't any super team. It's not, there was people soaking up value at every spot. Super teams happen when you have a bunch of people passing up value over and over again. There weren't any 10 NDP, ADP discounts. And again, Greg, I think you're one of the guys that gets worked up about it because I feel like I've seen you maybe post about it. I could be wrong, but like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it ultimately doesn't matter. It also, in particular, doesn't matter in May. Like, if he did this, if he punts it off 150 drafts in August, that's where maybe it matters a little bit more because you have these real-time potential EV situations and he's just spamming. Though, frankly, his teams will also be better built in August if he were spamming 150. But no, you're not really building super teams. Like, you're building slightly better teams than you would with slightly more unique combos than you would. But that's just it. It's that. Gilbert Arenas is ruining best ball. People are getting 3 picks of ADP value that I didn't. That was it. And I hopped in again. I hopped in with the express purpose of trying to soak up value. That's my actual experience. So you can tell me that my experience is incorrect. I would say that my experience is valid, which has really been my big case in the best ball community this year. I think my experience is valid, being threatened by people 3 times in a year who are underdog customers. I think my experience is valid as well. Drafted against Gilbert Arenas. Nothing fucking was that good there. Besides getting Amon-Ra Malik Neighbors. That's pretty sick. What's the criteria for throwing out any bad combo construction if that's the litmus? I mean, I don't think they're throwing out a lot of bad construction, to be honest. But I think it's reaching more than that. I think he took the guys mostly ADP. The Josh Allen part, no. The Lamar part, no. But people can do that. Like, you can be a bad drafter. You're allowed to punt off your money on that respect. But if you were taking Marshawn Lloyd 5th round or something, then no. Like, I think what happened, if I had to guess, is that somebody set this up for him. They set up rankings based off of like some sort of projection system. And as a result, he's getting QB really high. That doesn't explain the 5 tight ends to me. So maybe they put like a multiplier on for certain positions or something. It could also just be that somebody uploaded something incorrectly, but like he was autoing them. So it did what it did. I don't know, but I don't think that's it. I agree it's not creating super teams, but it's also dumb. Both can be true. That is also fair. It's dumb. And I think that's the biggest issue too. And again, to be candid, Underdog gives people promotional credits. So it's a little bit, and I think this is really one of the biggest issues I've mentioned before. I think there's a little bit of a class war that's been going on Twitter that was sucked into before, and I've commented on it, and I'll just be candid about it. I've felt the vibes from it. And please, guys, join this room if you can. For the love of God, 5 spots left, or else I'm not going to be able to go to fucking daycare. But basically, like, I think people are starting to realize too that a lot of the people that you're seeing on YouTube get a lot of promotional credits, and Underdog doesn't like that to be said out loud, I don't think. But like, people are playing with free money while you're paying $20. And for some of these guys out there, you didn't win last year, even though you thought you were going to win big off of Saquon. You drafted Saquon and Derrick Henry on every team. This is my big payday. And it's like, no, you actually didn't draft a team that's built well for tournaments to kind of withstand the brunt of the pod luck and all that stuff you need. They don't get paid off of that. They're now putting in, their 3K again this year, and they're finding out that Gilbert Arenas is punting off entries that make it feel like collusion. So it's just kind of a bad look overall. But that's what it is. I think to me is that people are getting really worked up about it, and I get why, but I also think it's an Underdog expectation setting issue. I think there's a lot of things they could do a better job with, but I've said as much. I say as much as I can, like, because I think the community is just fucking a lot of stupids out there. But I get the look. It's the main drafters contest here. Again, promo code Splash for playing on drafters for the first time. It does support the show directly, and Really, I'm tied to you guys playing this year in multiple ways in my drafters deal, so please show some love. Drafters is also the only reason I'm doing drafts on the channels here, to be totally candid, with stuff with Underdog falling out as the way it did. So shout out to them. Go check it out if you enjoy content on this channel, supporting drafters and really supporting yourself, a site that I've finished top 100, top 12 in their biggest tournaments in playoff best ball and regular best ball in the last couple years. Your money will go further on drafters. So that's the cosign I can give you to fill these last 2 spots, for the love of God. Please. See, this is the next level conspiracy. Craig, you're going even further. No, I don't think Underdog did it as a promo to get people drafting during the weekend. They don't want any scrutiny on the stuff, especially because they've had their legal issues getting licensed in states. They don't want things that make it look bad for them right now. I mean, again, I try to say too much because there are still legal things that I'm looking into. But like, they don't want any controversy is really the biggest thing with Underdog. The biggest thing. So no, they wouldn't create controversy. Well, they don't know. I'm not gonna. We need to go into. I'm trying. It's so hard for me to not go off on things, certain as you guys may guess, and I'm doing the best I can to be that one for my own sake for future things. Think the Underdog paid people are sparking a fire back and like Gil did something super cool. I agree. It was a little tone deaf on the Pete show. I thought that was dumb. That I think it was mostly John and Pete were like, oh yeah, like he's putting off money to the community. It's like, that's not why he's doing that. We don't need to pretend that's why he's doing that. I think it's, I think it's, and again, I get it. I get why you do it. It's also why too, it's really hard to be in those spots for those guys though. Like when you are working with Underdog, especially at a certain tier of partnership, they really expect you to be sycophantic to the brand. And then, you know, even if they don't say it directly, there's an expectation of that when you're being paid money. That's honestly why I like working with drafters, because you know, the guy, Zach, who's one of the co-founders there, he just wants me to get signups and he gets what I'm doing in the space and appreciates it. And has been, frankly, a nice guy too, on a personal level to me, much like some of the Underdog founders have been to some of the guys who are partners there. So I get it. I also like if drafters does something that doesn't work, I don't lie about it on stream. And I think Underdog has gotten to that level that people feel weird even pointing out, like, oh, like what? Like what's going on here? It's not great. Why do we have Chunk the Deuce here, who's our regular. We also have the Deuce FF. Chunk, are you multi-accounting here? I'm not aware of that. I don't think Chunk could put it. That's because that guy's got 17, or is that? No, it can't be 173. He's got 17 entries. Can't see how many Chunk has here. Either way, the draft did not start early. So if you guys are playing in the room, try to make some quick clicks, please, so I can get out of here by 5:15 if we can at the latest. I got to go vroom, vroom, pick up the kid. Vroom, vroom back. All right, we got Justin Jefferson here, Bijan Robinson here. 2 guys I like a good amount. If I'm ranking them, and I think I actually did rank it this way in my most recent update, I would go Bijan over Jefferson a little bit more. But I think Bijan may have a lower ADP in points this summer. So I'm going to go with Jefferson right now at pick 3. I think it's possible, but not the most likely, that Jefferson could even get closer to Barkley in ADP, at least on some sites. But Jefferson, I want to make sure to keep getting exposure to. I do like Bijan a lot, though. I think if there were one guy I would say has a shot to make a Saquon-esque leap, a big barrier for him is just having Tyler Algier in the mix at all, a guy who they can put out there when it's a very obvious, running situation. I think that's the shitty part for Bijan, but in terms of the talent, in terms of being a plus EPA player at high volume, having a high avoided tackle rate amidst getting that volume up, getting good red zone work in the pass game and the run game, that's Bijan, and Atlanta's offense being better, I also expect. Michael Penix's not a good rusher. So there's a lot of things for me that really make Bijan an appealing click. And I think to him, frankly, I feel like Barkley and Bijan, like Barkley is the tier break because he doesn't have a backup. It's going to take meaningful work away. Most likely just Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts will steal some of that work away overall in the red zone. But like Bijan, Gibbs, I would say Bijan to me a tier ahead of Gibbs. Like Gibbs loses more work to Montgomery, I think, in a normal season than Bijan will lose to Algier with where these guys are right now. But that's, it's my belief. Doesn't have to be yours. Oh, there we go. The Deuce FF Spider-Man point meme. I'm going to accuse them of collusion. There we go. Hey, I honestly don't think Underdog sucks. I think they've lost their way a little bit. I think the platform, I have to talk about something with Underdog too. So Metro's doing a bunch of drafts over the weekend. The wife likes to drive usually because like whoever drives chooses the music, and she's fucking annoying about that. So she drove out to the shore basically because we were going to one of her friend's birthday. It's also her friend's child's birthday party too. I'll make my click here and I'll finish my point. We got Higgins, Garrett Wilson, McBride, Rashee Rice. We took Higgins, or I took Higgins last, drafted it on DraftKings. Still like Higgins here as leverage against Jamar Chase. I think for total points as well, Higgins makes sense for both formats, for the playoffs on an Underdog, on a DraftKings. If you don't have Chase, you get Higgins. That works pretty well in terms of getting leverage against a possible high advance rate, high scoring guy, much like Higgins was last year. Helped win a lot of people a lot of money last year, did Higgins in the finals. But for Higgins overall, for total points, if you get Jamar Chase just being hurt, Higgins will help vault over Jamar Chase a lot. And if somehow Jamar Chase runs cold, let's say he gets bracket coverage over and over again, can't beat it for some reason, I think Higgins is still a nice click for total points. So I'm going to take him here. I feel good about that. We have Josh Jacobs coming back, a little bit of a discount. JSN here if I want to get some more receivers in. Chase Brown, I can make the Cincy bet as well, get more of a fade on Chase going. I'm going to do that. So Chase Brown, first click here. Chase Brown, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins. I like the internal logic the lineup has of we don't get Jamar Chase. We get Chase Brown and Higgins instead to try to get that touchdown production over the course of a year, let alone when we get to the money rounds or, the time where we really need to make a leap up the chart is better to say here because we don't have playoff pods on drafters, obviously. But then we have Jefferson as well, who theoretically can outscore Chase in a season or when we need the money the most in week 17. So I like the way we're building right now. There we go. All right, so the Deuce is also knows splash play. So there we go. I don't know this Deuce character. I don't know what's going on drafters, but either way, frankly, if people were colluding on drafters, it really wouldn't affect you as much either because you're not in the pod. So I think even with collusion, the plug goes to drafters here. No playoff pods, no pods the season long. It's just total points format. So people are colluding against you. It works out. But anyway, for over the weekend, I was basically drafting on the road, and admittedly, did lose my connection a little bit, though every other app worked. Underdog kept logging me out over and over again. I was doing a 20-second clock BBM, and I kept logging in, and then it wouldn't take the login. And again, Twitter was working fine. Twitter, we all know, is fucking dog shit. It's been broken every weekend for the last couple months. That was working fine. YouTube, I could run a video, but I couldn't connect to Underdog to make my picks. So basically just ate a BBM entry because I lost 5 picks from just not being able to log back in. It was an awful experience in a way that I haven't had. And I've drafted in a lot of different locations in Underdog over the years. And, I'm not trying to do Underdog thud. I'm still putting a lot of money in Underdog this year. I still also promo credits from them too. Again, just be real about it because that's the thing that I still have. So I'm still playing, but even if I didn't, I would still play a lot of Underdog this year. But it is a little bit of shitty experience and in ways that I had not seen before. So that was new to me. But I am dabbling in slow drafts. That's the thing that I thought has been an exciting thing to see is Schnauzer. I just wanted to get my entries in. I'm not going to have time to do hour drafts for that. I'm not a slow draft guy, but I got to say for getting volume down and frankly, for me, just getting a different look at things after doing so many live drafts, basically all the drafts I've done have been fast drafts of the last, 4 years doing this content. I really do like slow drafts a little bit more than I did historically. So for you guys out there that may be in a rut with drafting or just want to get some more action down and feel like you don't have the time, I think doing a bunch of slow drafts at once, I'm doing 19 at once right now. It's not been that bad. I've had a good experience with it. Might have been in some rooms with you guys. Who knows? We got Chase Brown, Jefferson, Higgins here. Travis Hunter, I feel okay about. George Kittle, I don't take a lot of, but get on drafters. We do like that elite tight end or elite adjacent tight end a little bit more. I'm going to go Kittle. Not a usual click for me here, but I feel okay with it. And that's really what it matters. That's but honestly, no, I like elite tight end more here. And I feel like Jefferson, Higgins holding some water for me. Chase Brown at RB carrying some water as well. I've got enough Travis Hunter in rooms lately. I'm taking a lot of Travis Hunter because I'm now cozy with that. Taking him at pick 40. I think for me, getting Kittle here is a little bit of a deviation from the norm. Going to work back through the chats here. What do I think is fair value for Rashee Rice, assuming he's healthy and not suspended? The suspension seems unlikely to happen based upon the Twitter legal guys like Drew Davenport. I do think he's a little bit overvalued because people don't realize his role is still a little bit fluid. If Jalen Royals is a beast with that same role, I think that for that situation overall, Royal can, especially if he starts here in the pup list, which doesn't seem likely, but I haven't heard reports that Rashee Rice is full go. Keep saying he's at things, but they don't say like, oh, he's like full go at practice and he's out there. Until I hear that, I think Royals is live to take work away from him if Rashee Rice ends up having this injury drag out longer, because the knee injury wasn't supposed to be done this fast. But take him at pick 30 right now. I think that's where he's going. You got to take the guy where he's going. So that's still the main thing for me. Hunter, I would have taken at the last click. He's coming back. Jameson Williams, I don't mind either. But I'm going to go Hunter here. I'm sure somebody's going to take Joe Burrow on the way back, but there's a faint chance Burrow falls to 70. So we'll see what happens in this room. Let's see. What else do we got here? Catching up on all the chats. You got some really buggy for sure last couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean, again, it has never had an experience like that before. But, you know, moving out of coverage areas, I get it. It's just, it was odd to me. Like, if a YouTube video can play at full res, if Twitter can work the way Twitter's supposed to work, I think the app should work. And I think too, like, I don't know, man. I think the North Korea thing, frankly, big reason why I left Barstool. I didn't like the way they handled my situation when I was on a quote unquote suspension there, which wasn't really a suspension. Like basically they just started to like fucking lie and shit in media and like in content they were creating. I the only time I ever felt that way in my life was with Underdog, is like with the situation that they've had the last year or so, where it's like a lot of stuff where they kind of want you to look the other way on things. And like, you know, and I think you need to be called to task fairly by everybody. I think too, frankly, the fact that like we ignore, and you know, and guys like Pete, I think to his credit, and so other people out there, I'm sure do the same thing. Like the pick'em stuff. Like, look, drafters wants you to play pick'ems too. They'll make money on pick'ems. They'll do well with it. I talked to a company recently that's about a potential full-time thing, just because, you know, look, I'll talk to people about stuff if they want to. And you know, they are a company that makes a lot of money off of pick'ems as well. And like pick'ems kill it. I get it. But like, you know, maybe make clear that pick'ems are a money pit. Like, I think it's part of your, maybe not as part of your marketing, but like maybe educate people on that a little bit while you're also using best balls like a gateway for that. I don't know. Those are things I find wrong with the industry. It's not specific to one app. I just want the app to work and I want to not lose a draft. But I'd be much more pissed about it, you know, if it weren't promo credits. Just being real about it. Demad Bowler here asking more of a general, so we can get off the industry talk. I've gotten my takes out. My Gilbert Arenas draft thing doesn't matter. App not working matters more than people realize. Do you like to have at least one RB in the first 3 rounds of being total points, or don't mind going 0 RB if the room falls right? I think you need that first RB, I think 5 rounds more than ever, but Joe Burrow goes to pick before me because this guy, I think he's doing defense here. Really smart stuff that happens on drafters. We're on the clock here. We got Odunze, Pearsall, Caleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins. I'm taking receiver again. I'm going Odunze. Actually, we could do Pearsall and do the Niner stack. Yeah, you know what? I'll do that. I like Odunze a lot more as a player, to be honest. These guys at the same ADPs. I don't know. I did get sniped. The snipe on Burrow is very silly. I agree, but what are you going to do? I said on the DraftKings stream, like, people don't grasp the fact I've been hamming up the QB sniping for a year. But this year in particular, you get sniped every single draft. Like, what does it fucking matter? I don't have the energy to get worked up about it anymore. Like, you could have the most logical stack set up. Guys, the QB's not even a value. People take that QB 10 picks ahead. Just sniping is just a part of the game, unfortunately, this year. Judkins and Pollard both come back. Judkins says he wants to teach the Cleveland Browns his winning ways because he played at Ohio State, which is one of the stupidest takes I've heard in a while. Like, there's other Browns players who were good in college, and he wasn't even that fucking good. He wasn't that efficient. I know he played well in the CFP, but he wasn't that efficient. Either way, though, we'll take Quinshon Judkins here as our RB2 now that I've bashed him adequately. Chase Brown, Quinshon Judkins starts so far in all Ohio backfield. I wish Chase Brown had gone to an Ohio college, but he did go to Illinois. Close enough, right? Judkins, Ohio State, Cleveland, the hero of Ohio, the new LeBron. Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Travis Hunter, Ricky Pearsall. Really think the Pearsall-Odunze thing could be something that bites me in the ass a little bit, but we got Niners correlation, obviously setting up potentially for Purdy if he doesn't go to the guy in front of me for no reason. I'm okay with the team so far. I think it's pretty well balanced. RB room, not big names, but guys, I think that have a pathway to being lead RBs for teams that are going to run the ball a good amount. So I'm cool with the team. Let's see. If you're a Black Friday style event with Underdog, Adam, I wouldn't worry about that. I think your money's safe because they are so overfunded. That part I wouldn't worry about, to be totally honest. The part that you worry about with companies in general is just like the experience degrading over time. And I think that's the case. But what are you gonna do? Nothing's ever as good as it was 3 years ago. Like if you really think about it, like what Amazon Prime, maybe one of few exceptions. Frankly, if you identify every company that's exactly as good as it was 3 years ago or somehow better, especially if they had some sort of runway, you'd probably know what companies are like the most successful and profitable in the world. Like what Starbucks? I don't drink coffee, but is Starbucks better? Probably more efficient with mobile ordering and stuff. The DraftKings, to their credit, I think has made some improvements. Drafters, I think, has made some improvements as well. Do you think it's smart to hold off somewhat on injured receivers because they might fall when camp opens? That's certainly a strategy. Yeah, I think that being mindful of buying the dip on guys injury wise is a good thing. With injuries that crop up during training camp, that's been something that's burned me in the past. In particular, a couple of years ago in Jerry Jeudy and Cooper Kupp, where those guys got banged up in training camp, I was like, I got to buy the dip because these guys were so much more expensive throughout. And then I think neither guy really ended up paying off. It's definitely Jeudy. I forget if it was Kupp, but this has happened a few times throughout best ball. I think in season or in training camp buying windows on injuries, probably you don't love as much unless you know it's an injury that's going to be short term. But for right now, a guy that's hurt, like on DraftKings, you see it happen every time. You have the Q tag on a guy, he'll fall 10 spots past his ADP on DraftKings. They're like, whoa, here's a Q tag. Because they just can't compute the fact a Q tag matters not even a little bit. At this time of the year, like it doesn't matter for another. The Q tag right now doesn't really matter for another 7 months. Like you want him to not have that Q tag in week 17. Obviously you want him to play the entire year, but really that's what it comes down to. So like a Q tag right now, sure. Guy with an ongoing injury, guy with an ambiguous injury. Like that's my Rashee Rice thing. It's like, I think there's some sleight of hand around the news with Rashee Rice, but I don't know. I feel like, and also like a lot of the markets out there really want to believe in Rashee Rice and want him to be like, the best. I don't know that it's the best that it's worked out so far with reporting on that. We got Cam Scatterbo here, Justin Fields here, who I do like as a QB click, but we have some outs at QB. I like Scatterbo. Trey Harris is wide receiver 5, feels a little more sturdy. I'm going to go Trey Harris here. Still like Scatterbo enough, but there are other clicks to make coming up, I think. Kyler Murray goes. Justin Fields goes. Really also hard for me not to click Justin Fields every time in this spot. Anytime I'm after pick 90 and Fields is there, whether I have Garrett Wilson or not, I just go like Justin Fields would be a nice click right now. And that's like pretty much without fail. All right. I mean, do we think the room stops me from getting Purdy again? Let's see, where's I can't find the Ayuk drafter. Ayuk drafter's over here, doesn't have a QB. Yeah, we're gonna go up and get Purdy. 7 spots of value I'm giving up, but I don't think Purdy was gonna make it past CK Knapp over here. He's got McCaffrey, he's got Ayuk. I just don't want to be left holding the bag with no QBs here because we're getting kind of thin. We lost out on Burrow. McCarthy sometimes goes fast. No chance Purdy was coming back. I agree. So we'll go up and get it here. Again, a little bit of a change to my draft process where normally I would try to push it, try to get Purdy at 118. Maybe there'll come a time period where I see enough drafts of QBs falling and I'll feel comfortable with it. But in this 90, again, on DraftKings, I'd say 85 to 120 range even, it's just QB. It's people panicking over not having QB. It's people taking 2-3 QBs because they don't know what to do in a pocket. It's too hard to expect your QB to come back. So we have the double bet on San Francisco here. We're just going to take Purdy. That's really my logic for that. Browns are one of the greatest left tackles in football. Still couldn't put a decent team together. Well, you know what? They needed Quinshon Judkins. So that's that. Oh, Judkins played at Ole Miss for 2 years, didn't win anything. Well, he learned how to win. So there's no argument that a football player can't win by just going like, yeah, but then I won. But that's why wins are not a stat for players. Even for QBs, wins shouldn't really be a stat, though certainly make the most sense for them, much like a pitcher. Even for pitchers, wins don't really make sense as a stat. So what are you going to do? Either way, guys, Tuesday is absolutely the slow stream around here. I really need to get need to figure out the times to do streams that are going to actually have people watching these days. But please show some love if you can. Subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Again, I show up here and do my work no matter what. I talk to you guys about my process. I talk about news. We just did a DraftKings stream as well on Stochastic. I make sure I know all the sites really well at this point. And frankly, the fact that I'm drafting in all three at a regular basis, I'm feeling like I know my shit really well at this point across every platform. I feel like drafts are locking in real easily for me. So show some love if you can. Subscribe down below with the like button, leave a comment. Again, drafts coming up here. I might do a draft every day this week at 4 p.m., but I got to see how the schedule looks with shows and stuff I have, because I can't risk running late tomorrow. But I'll be upping the draft volume a little bit more here because I have been kind of just building myself up slowly just for reasons. So stay tuned here. Hit the like button, subscribe, do all that. The QB panic is so true in some of these rooms. It's really one of the biggest trends of 2025, I think, in a draft room. Like that, and just adapting to getting sniped, I think, is to me a big part of it, though frankly, maybe should have made that argument for me last year as well. People really panicking in this area. Like there's just too many QB ADPs here, too many potential stacks, too many overlapping stacks, and people do kind of lose it. Another reason I wish I had taken Odunze is I could have taken Caleb Williams here and felt pretty good about that. Certainly really don't want to go up and get Trevor Lawrence at this point, reach again at QB. Not my favorite RB pocket in the world. I'll take a share of Bashal Tootin, but I really like ATN cheaper, like Bigsby cheaper. Did just take the both of them in a DraftKings draft. So that'll be my logic for taking Tootin here. Tootin, I think, is just overpriced. It's really what it comes down to. Too expensive for the lack of likelihood that he doesn't win the role, even though, yeah, he can win the role. Still very possible he doesn't. We've seen this happen so many fucking times, especially for an RB with obvious flaws. Tootin gets stuffed in the run a ton, as high as any back in the class. He fumbles the ball. Avoided tackle rate isn't everything, even though it is one of my most cherished stats generally. We got Mims here, Ramondre. We can add at RB. Tyjae Spears coming up a little bit. It's interesting to see. A little bit of a QB backlog here. Could also just do Herbert with Trey Harris. So we do have more of a Jacksonville bet. You know what? Let's go Herbert here. Another QB. I feel like I can make it up at RB later on with this start. Maybe that could be wrong because Tootin is a fragile asset. But we got Herbert stacked up with Harris here. I feel good about my QB scoring, so I don't have to worry about Trevor Lawrence getting sniped, or maybe I can get Trevor Lawrence as a nice value. That's the way I'm going to try to view it in my head. So Purdy, Herbert, Chase Brown, Judkins, Tootin here is our RB room. Jefferson, Higgins, Hunter from Jacksonville, of course. Pearsall from San Francisco. I don't know what I'm saying. Don't confuse him with the other Pearsalls. And Trey Harris from the Chargers. And then George Kittle. So we got our Niners double stacked with Pearsall and Kittle. Definitely prefer to get Jennings in a Niners stack if I can, because he really showed huge upside last year in the underlying numbers. But those two work well enough. I think more appealing to me to not have Jennings on an Underdog or DraftKings where you get the full pod there and you're getting some leverage. But Kittle, I think I like no matter what format. Want to start taking him more. The Milroe Arroyo emergency. I don't think Milroe Arroyo is going to hit this year. I guess it's possible. Darnold, again, the injury guarantee thing could sit him, so that's possible. Herbert pick felt good there. I agree. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. I think I'm going to get a lot of Trevor Lawrence this summer. But with, the Brian Thomas drafter over here, he needs a QB. Didn't feel comfortable pushing Lawrence all the way around, and I didn't want to reach for my second straight QB that much. So a little bit of a discount on Herbert, I think, feels better. But that's honestly just ADP psychology. And there you go. Lawrence goes. Thought he would. I think Team Skank might be another. I think he's the same guy in the chat who had Skank in his username on DraftKings. So he might be in here too. And we both won then. Everybody wins. Team so far that I have here is Purdy, Justin Herbert at RB, Chase Brown, who hopefully is going to carry a lot of water for this team, with Quinshon Judkins behind him, Bashal Tootin behind him, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Travis Hunter, Pearsall, Trey Harris, a wide receiver. I like the receiver room. I think it's got a unique texture that most people won't do, but obviously we have some safety here with Jefferson and theoretically Higgins. Higgins' workload when he was healthy last year. Now he's gotten paid, so hopefully he won't fucking skim on games as much. I think that receiver room works. And Hunter, obviously we like it as cost at this point, but got him at 51 here, even better. Kittle, elite-ish tight end. That works. I think it's a nice team. And I think we got some RB pockets coming up that'll make me feel a little bit better about we've done at RB. Like Arroyo, nice Fantas cut, possible, which is possible given the camp savings. Milroe's a playoff tourney only info. Yeah, I think Milroe, you're still taking on a little too much risk there for me personally, but I'm also the guy that's not drafting AR and Daniel Jones. I just think you can survive in best ball without taking a lot of the superfluous, might start, might not start guys. But that's me. Garendo here. I mean, I do like Rachaad White. Comfortable taking him in a lot of different rooms. We got this Niners bet already, though, so I think let's just go Garendo. We'll say the chalk Niners stuff doesn't hit, and a Kittle pairing. I mean, Kittle is a chalk bet as well. A Pearsall, Garendo hitting more. That can play. That can play. Was hoping Trey Benson would come back. That would have been a nice click for me. But no Trey Benson here. No matter what, though, another RB coming up for me. Jonesy 1 Kano. Interesting name. Taking the sign. Takes Rachaad White. I really would have liked Rachaad White. Bigsby here. Eckler here. I mean, frankly, I do make the Bigsby ATN bet enough that I can make a Tootin Bigsby bet because they're very different backs. Ray Davis's ADP is going to come up the longer that James Cook holds out. I'm going to make the Bigsby click here. I think taking 2 backs out of Jacksonville, I don't know that I would say a jag in every draft, but I might. And I think 2 backs out of a Jacksonville rotation when you just need those players there. I'm comfortable taking 2 Jacksonville guys over Ray Davis, even though Davis is going to have a window where the ADP comes up if Cook's holdout continues on. Eckler played really well last year, but another concussion will knock him out right away. I don't know. And you're all good, Gabe. Again, Gabe, I'm now people don't enjoy people want the tilting in 2025. So I'm not tilted over anything. Mr. Cool Hands here on stream at this point. Really, it's just I'm so browbeaten this year in best ball that you taking a Cardinal away that makes sense for me. No issue at all. Go ahead, Gabe Davis. Take your Trey Benson shares. Knock yourself out. But I do like Benson. I would say if I had to rank these guys in this quadrant of Garendo, Bigsby, White, Benson, I would probably go White, Benson, Garendo, Bigsby, Eckler, I think would be my pairing of that. Bigsby has a real shot at a run out, though, where he puts up 12 touchdowns this year. He's a power back whose avoided tackle rate started to get there last year. He put up a 19% avoided tackle rate, which for a guy who is like your power back, that's a really good number. Still going to fuck up in the pass games. Like, you want to take Bigsby to be your bell cow. It's never going to happen. But you want a guy to give you 2 kind of bullshit touchdowns in a game and not somebody else. Bigsby's still got a shot of being that guy. I know who is a legendary upside, I think, who's out there. Something the chat will know. I think he hates Bigsby. Like, had him ranked, had him unranked for a period. I don't get it. I think Bigsby and Algier, similar clicks. Games where Jacksonville's in charge and there's no ambiguity about what you need to do. You don't need to deceive and go like, oh, we might throw a pass here. Then Bigsby's going to be out there. He's going to be, I think he's going to be a more trusted runner in year 1 than Bashal Tootin would be my guess. But we'll see. See what kind of camp Tootin has. The frankly, early reports is one quote coming out of week 1, at least that I saw get any real steam, was he fumbled and you can't fumble, which I don't think is where you want Tootin to be. Okay, Hartman taking Cam Ward. That does suck if you take Cam Ward from the Ridley drafter because there's no hope for anybody else spiking in Tennessee, I think, really. Maybe a Okonkwo. The doofuses don't understand the joy of tough fish videos. Bad that some don't get the bits. And again, there are people who are regulars who think like that. I am legitimately angry. I can't be more clear, guys. And I hate to pull back the veil on concept. But I guess that's just where we are in the world. I ham up a lot of things on stream. If I'm talking in this voice, usually not. But anything that gets me worked up. I'm a real even EQ kind of person generally. It takes a lot to get me angry. Despite being Italian. So I think I should get double credits for that. Ooh, over Twitter, less so though. Boy, I'll lash out on somebody over Twitter though. But it doesn't make me actually angry. It's just I just want to be mean to them. Want them to hurt. Feel it in their bones. We got Rico Dowdle here. Speaking of things I want to feel in my bones, Rico Dowdle's one of those guys. We took Bretton Strange, got some more Jacksonville correlation here, which I'm okay with, despite not having the QB. Rico Dowdle, get an ambiguous backfield for Carolina. We're just looking for guys that have a share of things. And I'm really not worried about Rico Dowdle or Chuba Hubbard getting to a spot where they're going to lose work to Trevor Etienne, who really wasn't a great player in college. Granted, did play tough competition, playing in the SEC, but would say that for Rico Dowdle, they paid him similar money to Chuba. I think he's got a shot at taking that workload right away. Chris Spags hamming it up on stream, unbelievable. No, people really think that everything's fucking literal. That's it. Ham up Snipes takes cocks on stream. Yes, we do ham up our cocks. That's true. Getting a little too riled up. Am I getting too riled up? No, please don't put out angry tweets. Don't tag drafters in tweets about how riled up I've been getting here. The Thursday, we'll be doing the 420 stream. That's the promise here. I'm going to try to make it a regular Thursday thing, though life may interfere somewhat on Thursdays, but goal is going to be to do a 420 stream on Thursday. So tune in for that one if you want. Again, I'm trying to do something different with my content. I'll do my 3 drafts on one site. That's unique. I'll do these drafters drafts and all the people doing drafters drafts out there. So I'll keep doing those. Fantasy Sanctuary, the Tyler's on, does a great job with them. I know with Tom over there as well. If you want to see some more drafters content. But Thursdays, we're just going to fucking smoke weed and do a stream. This is what I'm going to try to do here. So tune in then. We'll spark one up and we'll do a stream, and we'll be before 420, but it'll be going to 420 right after my DraftKings stream. Tune that in. Yeah, Adam, if you of all people haven't been touting Trevor Etienne, then I think we're okay to do that for sure. Hey, for sure. Tyler is working hard in the space, even though sometimes the content industry does not show the love back that we put into it. I do appreciate Tyler's grind a bunch. And Tyler's really one of the great guys in the space. If you want to watch any other content this year, you'll watch your Pete's, you'll watch your Davises, you'll watch your legendary upsides, you'll watch your fantasy football dog pound, you'll watch your fantasy football garage, you'll watch your Bindles, you'll watch your Tyler, your PPR Tyler, you'll watch your other Tylers, you'll get some emo cowboy. You got to get some emo cowboy on Fantasy Sanctuary. Yes. How many other names? You'll watch your Meg Shoops. You'll watch your, I don't even know who else makes content. Did I miss anything? You'll watch your ship chasings. You'll watch your Justin Herzigs behind the paywall, especially now more than ever. Now he's got a Rolling Stone article about him. Sure, you'll watch your Gretsch if he comes back. You got to watch Tyler too. You got to watch every stream to be good at best ball. That's the hope. We're doing awfully at wide receiver, doing a terrible job. I'll do DeAndre Hopkins. He's still a real player on a real team. That works. Don't tag every streamer I mentioned, or I forgot to mention. Oh no, they're going to get mad at me. Tag every streamer I mentioned, then they'll somehow find a way to get offended as well. Yoshvis gets taken here. Yoshvis was another guy I was taking and thinking instead of DeAndre Hopkins, but instead I took the much older wide receiver 3 for the AFC Super Bowl possible contenders. So I think Gabe Davis made the right call going Yoshvis, and a very fun click with Jalen Royals here. Sam Sherman not in the industry anymore, so unfortunately you can't watch him. I don't think, though he did do a stream recently. I think if you do want to watch him. All right, we need more receivers desperately. A Umanor I will not take without our boy Cam Ward. Diami Brown, I do like a little bit more at this stage of things. Diami Brown, wide receiver 7. I can live with that. Nice coach speak from Diami Brown. Still feels mostly like a gadget guy to me. But I do think he's a player that fits a skill set they might not have, just a pure burner, yak guy. Brian Thomas certainly is going to yak. Travis Hunter, I actually don't know his yak data offhand. Let's see. Travis Hunter last year, 5 yards after catch, not really where we want to be, though Tet McMillan was only at 5.2. So if I'm going to ding Travis Hunter for that, I could ding McMillan for it as well. Avoided tackle rate of 18%. Tet was 32. So Travis Hunter, Travis Hunter 30%. Never mind. Oh, Trey Harris had an 18% avoided tackle rate. That's less good. A little more catch and fall down. Travis Hunter, 30% avoided tackle rate. So he should be a better yak guy than he was at Colorado. So you know what? Maybe there isn't a case for Dyami Brown, but they have been talking him up. They've been talking up his speed, the ability to get the ball in his hands, see what he could do with it. That might just mostly mean low A-dot throws, but he found a way to get there down the stretch for Washington. Obviously, Noah Brown getting hurt was a big part of that. I'll take the shot at Dyami Brown, who still stands out to me. And again, it's just kind of seeing what teams do and believing them is sort of, I think, one of the most important things in best ball. First signing that this Jacksonville regime made was bringing in Dyami Brown. So that's that. Watch 50 hours of content a week or be Gilbert Arenas. I mean, like, to be honest, if I'd fucking give up all that best ball content in a moment to get Gilbert Arenas money. That said, well, honestly though, Gilbert Arenas has gotten paid multiple times over. So Gilbert Arenas money, like, you should be willing to do a lot of things for Gilbert Arenas money. I'd be willing to look like the dumbest man in best ball for fucking 25 straight years if I got paid Gilbert Arenas' money, not even including for future earnings. So, oh boy. Rolling Stone too cowardly to interview the horniest best ball player and creator. There you go. Yeah, they did not dig very deep for it. It's funny because I really think right now best ball is in like the puff piece territory of things where people don't know really what it is. And like you have that article that was very obviously seeded by Underdog earlier in the year on that Roto Grinders owned site where it's like, it's some news site. It's like in news or something like that. I forget what it is, where they cover betting shit. And they're like, the best ball community's never been better. And it's like, it's all quotes from like, the guys, again, guys I like in the space, but it's like, God, I just really, it feels like taking crazy pills. I'm not as conspiratorial again. There's a dude, Greg, who's been in the chat before, has been a member in Splash before as well. Nice guy. But he was talking on the stream earlier about, Gilbert Arenas and super teams and like, oh, it's like Underdog conspiring to, get you to go get some action on the weekend. And it's like, no, they're not going to do that. Like they're certainly doing some things, but people are missing the really obvious kind of stuff a company does. And they're thinking that they're like fucking going full Machiavellian Mission Impossible bad guy mode. Dami's fun because Trevor loves the deep ball. Well, the bad news is Brian Thomas also loves the deep ball. Travis Hunter's probably going to love the deep ball. That's going to be tough. Do you think Parker Washington has a legit role? No. He'll be out there wide receiver 3 or 3 wide receiver sets, but Strange being a tight end, he can earn a lot of targets that would go that way. I think he's a click you can make on drafters, but like round 19, round 20. But I think he's going to be your short, low A-dot target, kind of moving the sticks kind of play as opposed to Dyami Brown. But even still, you're going to have Brian Thomas rotating in the slot a lot. It's not really where I'd want to be too much of. Feeling good at pretty much every position at this point. Calvin Austin, not a player I like. I still think Pittsburgh, to me, getting a Keenan Allen in makes a lot of sense for them. But I'll take Calvin Austin a little bit at this point because Pittsburgh's got to throw the ball somewhere, and Austin is the kind of guy I think on drafters to get a little bit of a look at here down the home stretch. Tutu Atwell, you can as well. You can Tutu as well. Let's see. Gilbert Arenas has probably also had more sorry pussy. That's aggressive. I'm sure he's also probably had some really, again, he's worth hundreds of millions, or at least was at one point, and I'm sure has now gotten back up to tens of millions. He's doing okay. I'm sure he's doing okay. I don't want to, I don't want to speculate about Underdog partners' love lives, but I guess if I were safe to do one, it'd probably be Gilbert Arenas. All right, we got two, no, not safe in terms of gunplay. All right, we got to make some clicks here. I still need more at receiver. Don't love this pocket. I kind of just talked myself into Tutu Atwell. He can catch some bombs. He does something nobody else in the Rams can do. We're just adding upside at this point because I feel okay enough about the RB room. It's not great, but like adding one of these shit RBs late when all the guys who I kind of like are already gone, that's not doing anything for me. Even Sean Tucker's gone. Like, what am I going to do at RB? I'm going to take Jaleel McLaughlin. Audric Estime. I can't even click Audric Estime anymore. I still think there's a world where you can get there. I have a really hard time making that click. Maybe you could take Trevor Etienne and just make an anti-Chuba Hubbard bet. We got one more pick left here in round 20, guys. Appreciate you guys who are in the draft today. Help me get through in a reasonable pace so I can go pick up my child in time from daycare, which is the ongoing bit of these Tuesday streams. But guys, show some love if you can. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the Discord as well. All these things go a long way from here. Just one dude showing you my gambling on stream, trying to keep it as real as I possibly can. I'm here on stream every day, and then of course, I do it. Well, here's the Discord plug as well. $5 to join. Link in the description. You can also get the Squirt Squad and the VIP tiers if you want my rankings on there, which are due for another update. I have been working behind the scenes on another one here because I still haven't gotten the DraftKings and Drafters stuff done right. That's also why I don't really promote my rankings that hard. But get in there and support the show if you can, because they're going to be good to go soon. Whenever enough people sign up to actually care enough to finish it. That's the main plug there. Drafters as well, another big plug here. $100 deposit match on Drafters, of course. Site where my money's gone the furthest in the last few years, including playoff best ball, finished top 12 this last year. Year before that, finished top 100 in Drafters big tournament. People in our community have finished top 10 as well. Won the really big paydays on Drafters. You can do that with less entries than you have to put in some of the other sites, where I really do strongly feel other sites out there you want to get in your 150. Drafters, you want to get in your 150, but you don't have to. They make it easy to do with all the givebacks they do as well. Lots of free entries, including at your first 10, your first 15, 20. I'm making up numbers here, but they give you a lot of free entries back as well along the way. So check it out at Drafters. Drafters promo code SPLASH on there. Use it if you can. And drafters.com or on the app on Drafters, promo code SPLASH for a $100 deposit match. And actually, I wanted to do this on stream today. Shout out to some of the folks who have signed up, because there have been a good amount of you guys who've signed up lately. And I would like to give that before my pick comes up here. Shout out to Genty's Diastema, which is, I looked up the gap between your teeth. Very clever username. Genty's Diastema. Omega Haga, J Jax, Saggy Granny. I'm going to read it before I make my pick. Slay King, Urinal Pube, I am Funnyo, T Kimball, Lima Time, I am the KY. Some of the luminaries that have signed up over the last month on there, but join them. Draft on Drafters. As we make one more click here at wide receiver. Parker Washington to do more Jacksonville stuff. Noah Brown, I'll go Parker Washington. I think it's kind of fun to just get this Diami Brown, Parker Washington roll. Maybe it spikes some weeks that Travis Hunter doesn't. Basically, just a pretty big bet against Brian Thomas and this team, which not a bet I'm going to make very often. Love Brian Thomas, but sometimes you got to go the oppo way. We got Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert at QB, at RB, Chase Brown, Quinshon Judkins, Bashal Tootin, Isaac Garendo, Tank Bigsby, Rico Dowdle. So Chase Brown and Judkins have to carry a lot of water here. I really don't feel great about teams where Judkins and a guy like Caleb Johnson are my RB2 and 3. I just feel a little flimsy with that being the kind of build. That said, we got kind of a worse version of it here with Judkins and Tootin. I'm okay with the shot here. I like the Jacksonville attempts, but the RB room, Chase Brown's going to have to do a lot, which hopefully he will. He had one of the best red zone roles in football when he actually got playing time. At wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Travis Hunter, Ricky Pearsall, Trey Harris. Then we had to go receiver a bunch later on. Hopkins, Diami Brown, Calvin Austin, Tutu Atwell, Parker Washington. So some late clicks I like here. Top 5 that feel okay about. Really think Odunze over Pearsall in hindsight would have changed the entire texture of this draft, because I would have gotten a value Caleb Williams, would have gotten Odunze, would have maybe not had to take Purdy. So some key decision points I made here that maybe didn't work out as well as they could have. In a tight end, George Kittle, Bretton Strange. I like Kittle, like the stacking with Purdy. I like parts of this team. It's a weird team, though. It's a weird team. But that's Drafters for you. Do show some love if you can to Drafters. Check them out. Promo code SPLASH on Drafters again. And shout out to all the guys that did draft me today. Number one, I want more of you guys to sign up so we can fill these draft rooms a little bit faster and I can get more of them on stream, because I am trying to 150 max draft this year. But number two, really just fun drafting you guys on here and knowing we're not going to have to eliminate each other in pods. That's a key thing in basketball that happens when you are drafting with some of your favorite streamers or your least favorite streamers out there. So check out Drafters. The money will go further. As I've mentioned, I've had some of my best finishes on here. Did finish top 100 in the big board last year, but got paid more finishing top 12 in playoff best ball on Drafters. That's the way it goes sometimes on these sites. Playing on Drafters has big paydays potential for you. 500K up top on Drafters. So check it out for yourself. That's stochastic. Drafters, $100 deposit match on Drafters with the promo code SPLASH. Gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time on this here channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Hit the notification bell because there's going to be some surprise drafts this week. I'm going to play with some different times. maybe a night draft, maybe an early morning draft. I'm going to play with things. You'll still get your Friday afternoon batch of 3 Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters. Might do a special Underdog stream this week. Probably not a slow draft video, even though I've got a lot of slow drafts going on. But you'll have some different shit coming up. I'm going to try some shit on the channel. So stay tuned here. Subscribe to the notification bell. See you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Thanks for hanging out. Very lively chat. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with me on a fine Tuesday. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend as well. But I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Bye-bye.